Hare Krishna. This bhajan is called Srinam. Srinam, you can find it. Srinam. It starts Gai Gauda Modhu Shware. Nam Gai Gauda Modhu Shware. Nam Gai Gauda Modhu Shware. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Grihe Tako, Bone Tako, Sadhori Bole Tako. Shuke Tuke, Bulanako, Bodone Hori Nam Bolode. Nam Gai Gauda Modhu Shware. Maya Jale Bhada Hoye Achomiche Kachaloye. Maya Jale Bhada Hoye Achomiche Kachaloye. Ekono Chaitanya He Radha Madhav Nam Bolode. Radha Madhav Nam Bolode. Nam Gai Gauda Modhu Shware. Nam Gai Gauda Modhu Shware. Jiban hoilo shesh na bhojire Rishikesh. Na bhojire Rishi. Jiban hoilo shesh na bhojire Rishikesh. Rishikesh. Bhakti Vinod Upadesh Ekbar Nam Roshi Matode Nam Gai Gauda Madhushade Nam Gai Gauda Madhushade Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Vihari Jayat Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivardhari Jai Girivardhari Girivardhari Jai Jashodanandana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jai Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Kunja Vihari Jamuna Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Jai Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jai Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare. Jai Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jai Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Satinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Gaura Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtatadashara Shrishamanchara Abhay Charan Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Aparatishthata Charya Shri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Shri Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
It's a proud privilege for us to welcome amongst us His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu from Sridham, Mayapur. Prabhuji joined ISKCON in the early to middle 80s in Australia. He has practically done every possible service as a devotee. He has been a Sankirtan soldier. He has been a temple manager, fundraiser, general manager. He's done everything. And finally, as they say, when you have learnt everything, you teach. So then Prabhuji started doing that. He's been involved in, he's a member of the Board of Examinations for ISKCON. He's been primarily responsible for developing the ISKCON Disciple Course content, which is a big boon for most of the devotees in ISKCON. He is the forebearer in one sense of the teachers training courses that happen across the world. He has mentored so many devotees. It's a privilege for many of us who have been his proteges in this particular course. Teachers training 1, 2, and then Bhakti Shastri TTC. Apart from that, Prabhuji teaches several Bhakti courses across the world. As you have heard from his wonderful mellifluous rendition of Vaishnava Bhajan, Prabhuji preaches every year in Bangladesh. He's also picked up a whole host of preaching assignments in the past. He's traveled through Bangladesh, very famous every year for his yatras there. He's also one of the primary compeers and MCs in Sridham Mayapur for any big festival. The list is endless. He also ensures that in the Kolkata Rath Yatra also he plays a very crucial role. Apart from all that, the hundreds of thousands of devotees that he has mentored. And he's currently in the course of developing a course called Vaishnava Culture. It's a very, very important course. We're hoping that next year when Prabhuji hopefully will be committing time for us for Bhakti Vaibhav, an open invitation. Prabhuji will be teaching us in Bhakti Vaibhav and also will be running this Bhakti Vaishnava Culture course. So register now itself. His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you very much for your warm welcome. Mande aham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Shagara Jatam Shahagana Raganatam Vitam Tang Shaji Evam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Shri Shakang Vitangscha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mamaite manasa yadyad ashavaham iti bruvan griniyat tatpumam radham karma yena punabhavaha. Mamaite manasa yadyad ashav aham iti bruvan griniyat tatpumam radham karmayena punabhavaha. Please chant. Vaishnavis. Mama. Just English? Just English. Ete, mind. Ete, all these. Manasa, by the mind. Yat, yat, whatever. Asho, that. Aham, I, am. Iti, thus. Bruvan, accepting. Griniyat, takes with him. Tat, that. Puman, the living entity. Radham, perfected. Karma, work. Yena, by which. Punaha, again. Bhavaha, material existence. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The living entity labors under the bodily conception of I am this, I am that. My duty is this, and therefore I shall do it. These are all mental impressions, and all these activities are temporary. Nonetheless, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity gets a chance to execute all his mental concoctions. Thus he gets another body. Purport. As long as one is absorbed in the bodily conception, his activities are performed on that platform. This is not very difficult to understand. In the world, we see that every nation is trying to supersede every other nation, and that every man is trying to advance beyond his fellow man. All these activities are going on under the name of advancement of civilization. There are many plans for making the body comfortable, and these plans are carried in the subtle body after the destruction of the gross body. It is not a fact that after the gross body is destroyed, the living entity is finished. Although many great philosophers and teachers in this world are under the impression that after the body is finished, everything is finished, this is not a fact. Narad Muni says in this verse that at death one takes his plans with him, grinniyat, and to execute these plans he gets another body. This is called puna bhavaha. When the gross body is finished, the plans of the living entity are taken by the mind. And by the grace of the Lord, the living entity gets a chance to give these plans shape in the next life. This is known as the law of karma. As long as the mind is absorbed in the laws of karma, a certain type of body must be accepted in the next life. Karma is the aggregate of fruitive activities conducted to make this body comfortable or uncomfortable. We have actually seen that when an old man was about to die, he requested his physician to give him a chance to live 4 more years so that he could finish his plans. This means that while dying, he was thinking of his plans. After his body was destroyed, he doubtlessly carried his plans with him by means of the subtle body, composed of mind, intelligence, and ego. Thus, he would get another chance by the grace of the Supreme Lord, the Super Soul, who is always within the heart. Sarvasya chaham ridishani vishta matashmiti jnanam apohanam cha. In the next birth, one acquires remembrance from the Super Soul and begins to execute the plans begun in the previous life. This is also explained in Bhagavad Gita in another verse, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Rideshe Arjuna Tishtiti Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Jantra Rudhani Mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjun, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Bhagavad Gita 18:61. Situated on the vehicle given by the material nature, and reminded by the super soul within the heart, the living entity struggles all over the universe to fulfill his plans. Thinking, I am a Brahmin, I am a Kshatriya, I am an American, I am an Indian, and so on. All these designations are of the same essence. There is no point in becoming a Brahmin in preference to an American or becoming an American in preference to a Negro. After all, these are all bodily conceptions under the modes of material nature. Srila Prabhupada ki. Mukham kariti vachalam bhangam langai te girim jat kripa tamaham bande Shri Gurum dinatarinam bancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhuvevacha potitanam pabanebo vaishnavebo namo namaha. Narad Muni is here explaining the science of transmigration, how as Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, that Yam yam vabi shmaram bhavam, the remembrance, the bhav, the consciousness, the state of mind, bhav, shmaram bhavam, tajat ante kalevaram, at the antakal, at the final moment, sa prayat tam tam, evaiti kunteya, yam yam tam tam, yam yam tam tam. And that which you're thinking, that you will get. Yam yam vabi shmaram tam tam evaiti kunteya sada tat bhava bhavitaha. You get the same form. And in this way, the living entity wanders. Brahmanda Brahmate. Mahaprabhu is explaining to Rupa Goswami. Brahmanda Brahmate, we wander with so many conceptions of who we are. This is further elaborated in more detail in the 18th chapter, in the 15th chapter of the Gita. Sharinam yadavatnati yakschapi ukramati shama grihit vatani shamyati vayurgandani vashayat. Vayurgandan, eva, just like the air. Krishna is explaining that it carries different aromas. Another analogy sometimes Srila Prabhupada gives is the colored water with mud, water with mud. Water and dirt becomes mud. You can't really distinguish the water anymore. It all becomes one, mud. And in this way, the conditioned soul thinks, I am Indian. I could ask the question, but here I know, because you're all Gyan Shampurna Byaktira. You're all full of knowledge. I know you'll answer correctly. How many Indians here? Raise hands, all the Indians. A few hesitant. But we think, because just like the mud, you can't distinguish the water from it all has become one. And we think, I am this body. Even different philosophy and religious conceptions, they think that we are eternally this body. They think that. So this is a very powerful, as Prabhupada said, he said that, therefore, he said that we create so many obligations based on this misconception that we fulfill. And as we sang a little earlier, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Maya Jale. Jala means the net. Maya Jale, the network of illusion. Maya Jale Baddha Hoye. We are entangled. We've tied ourselves up. Sometimes when I'm discussing with devotees, congregational devotees, we're discussing about sadhana practice and Krishna consciousness, and they mention to me, Prabhu, I have to be at the office by 7:30 every morning, and after that, and the way it is spoken, it's like there's no other alternative. I have to be at the office by 7:30 each morning, and then I do my rounds, and it's like there's no question that there's an alternative. This is something that's absolute. I have to be at the office at 7 in the morning. This is Maya Jale Baddha Hoye. We have tied ourselves up in this, based upon this illusory concept of life. And it's very interesting how the material nature works, the Shangsha Chakra. Because it's constantly perpetuating, the illusion is constantly perpetuating, beginning with the Vapi Smaram Bhav, with the subtle consciousness, Tam Tam Evaide Sada Tad Bhava, you achieve, you acquire, receive a gross expression, a gross manifestation of your subtle consciousness. And therefore, your subtle consciousness becomes further established, because the gross body that you get is suited for that illusory conception of who you are. So, having received the body, you become further convinced that I am this, as the body is designed to work in that way. As Krishna further elaborates, you get a certain group of senses which are based upon the misunderstanding of who you are. Srutcham, Chakshu, Sparshanam cha, Rasanam graham evacha. Adishtaya manashchayam. Adishtaya mana. Based on the foundation of your mind, adishtaya, based on your mind, you get a certain type of srutram, ear, chakshu, eye, sparshanam, sense of touch, the sense of touch. Just like in the human form of life, tactility is very sensitive. You can, all parts of the body, just like we like to embrace. In the lower forms, the tactility is not as developed, like in a horse or a cow. They don't have such sensitivity in touching. But still, you see the cows; they will rub up against each other. Tactility, that's called the sparshanam. So that sense is given according to the way we like to enjoy. Granam, rasanam, granam, the tongue, the nose. You look at the dog's body. It is specifically designed to facilitate the desires of that soul. The dog's body is all about the nose. They call it snout. Yeah, snout. That comes first. And dogs, they interact with things with the snout. Everything. And because that's the way they like to enjoy. That's the way we live. So according to your and in this life, if we cultivate the pleasures of a dog, we may end up with a snout in the next life. And Krishna is explaining that you get a certain set of senses and then adhishtaya mana, based on your mind, and then vishayan upashevayat. You have to enjoy accordingly. Vishayan upashevayat. You enjoy accordingly, according to the senses that the gross body is comprised of. So actually the dog enjoys that. And if you were to give the dog the 5-star hotel, the ensuite with a nice view of Delhi, and room service, it wouldn't enjoy. It wouldn't particularly enjoy room service and a comfortable bed and a view, because it doesn't have the senses which are designed for that type of enjoyment. So the living entity is forced. Having received the body, the living entity is forced to act like a dog. And this is condemned. This is condemned existence. This is why the material world is so dangerous. Because you get the body and then you're jive vele bishoy shagore sharira abhijja jal. The body is a network of ignorance. Jodendriya. This actually is probably the most ecstatic bhajan we sing in ISKCON. Everyone's in ecstasy when we're singing this, but actually the meaning is very heavy. The meaning is very heavy. I'm sure no one's meditating on the meaning when they say Jodendriya Taikal. Jodendriya, the material senses, Taikal, they are the enemies. Jodendriya Taikal Jive Fele Bishaya Shagore, because they throw Jive Fele Bishaya Shagore. They throw the jiva into the ocean. And then you drown in whatever body that you end up with. Taramode jiva oti lobamoi. Amongst them all, the tongue is extremely greedy. Krishna boradoya moi, but Krishna is so merciful. Boradoya, big mercy. Koriba Swakprashad onadilo. He's given us the remnants of his own food to deal with that. So in this way, there's no hope. You come to this material world. It's called, therefore, Thakur Bhaktivinoda in Jaiva Dharma, he describes this is called Nitya Baddha. Because once you get involved in this, basically, it's eternally going to carry on. Brahmanda Brahmate, from one type of body to another. Brahmanda Brahmate, sometimes down, sometimes up, sometimes down. It's pretty much eternal. Unless one is unless one is delivered by the Vaishnavas who come to reclaim the fallen souls, preaching Krishna consciousness. That's the only hope that we have. So the message of Narad's instructions here to Prachinivahi Shat is that Krishna consciousness it's all about the consciousness. It's all about the consciousness. The whole purpose of the sadhana practice is to purify the consciousness so that we can prepare, having developed Krishna consciousness, Antakale chamame shmaram muktva kalevaram. Antakale chamam eva, antakale, at the final moment, chamam eva shmaram. If we can be in Krishna consciousness, sa prayati samadbhavam. Because of the consciousness, which is qualified, which has become purified, then naturally we'll go to Krishna, because we've developed the internal desire. Abhyasha yoga juktena. Krishna is explaining in the 12th chapter of the Gita that by practicing abhyasha yoga jukta, that's why we rise early in the morning and we come and we see the Lord with our eyes and we bow down and we chant and we dance and we hear and we serve the Lord, because that is abhyasha yoga jukta. That is being connected to the Lord in our position as servant by practice. Abhyas. Abhyas means practice. Internally we're contaminated. Bahut janma, bahuni me bititani janma. For so many lives we've been dogs, we've been demigods, we've been Brahmanda Brahmati, up and down. We've experienced all these things, and the residual sanskars are there. I saw one time on the advertisement in India here, it was for the deodorant. It was for the deodorant. And the caption was, let the animal in you come out. So actually, these things, you know, we've done these things. We've been dogs, and we've done all these things, and we can again become a dog. We can begin, because the sanskars are all there. Therefore, the bhajan, the Harir bhajan, ananna, what is that? That Devim bhajanti ananna manasa, bhajanti ananna manasa. The bhajan has to be deep. The shravan, it has to be very deep. So that these deep sanskars, which are remaining from so many lives in dogs' bodies, etc., can become removed by allowing Ridyanto Shto Hi Abhadrani Vidunati. He can clean. Vidunati. Ridyanta Shto, he's situated. And particularly when we chant, when we invoke his mercy by Srinvadam Swakata Krishna, by hearing and chanting, then he can clean. He will clean by his presence. Bhagavan Uposhtiti Pole, yes? As a result of his presence. Because we're inviting, because we are connecting, Abhyasha Yoga Jukta, we are connecting ourselves to Krishna. And by virtue of his Pavitram, Param Pavitra, we can purify ourselves. Apart from Krishna consciousness, there is no other method. And we're condemned. At the end of, like a calculator, you do all the equations. 71 plus 19, minus 54, plus 200, minus 37. We're not exactly sure what's going to happen when you press the equals button. That's what the end of life is like. Everything is aggregate, everything we do. And so we're condemned by the karma, again, to be thrown into the material existence. One time, one Tirthakari Brahman arrived at the house of Jagannath Mishra. He was, for the pleasure of the Lord, wandering from one Tirthashthan to another. He carried around his neck, his only ornament was his Shalagram Shila and Gopal deity. And he would worship the Lord by chanting the 6-syllable Gopal mantra. And whilst worshipping the Lord, the tears would roll down his cheeks as he would meditate on the mantra and his Lord. That Tirthakari Brahman, he would not eat anything that he hadn't offered to his deity. So having arrived at the house of Jagannath Mishra, Purandra, he stood up in respect and offered obeisances. Oh Goshai, please come and take rest in our home and allow us to serve you, allow us to feed you. And the Brahmin said, yeah, as you like, yes, yes. So Mishra, Jagannath Mishra, he cleaned the kitchen, they arranged all the ingredients for cooking. And that Brahmin, as Prabhupada sometimes comments, that the aristocratic Brahmins, they do not eat others' cooking. Every time they cook for themselves. So he began cooking. And then setting his Gopal deity and Shalagam Shila on the altar, he began to offer the bhoga that he had cooked. And whilst he was invoking the Lord to accept the Naivedya with the prayers and with the meditation, Shachinandan appeared in the temple room and reached out and began eating the rice and smiling, looking at that Brahmin. So breaking his meditation, opening his eyes, the Brahmin saw Shachinandan, and that which was his great fortune, he considered to be a great calamity. And he called out, "Hi, hi! The child has spoiled the offering." And everybody heard, everyone came running. Jagannath Mishra saw Shachinandan sitting there eating and fuming with rage. And Shachinandan, seeing Jagannath Mishra so angry, he ran. He got up and ran, running, and Mishra Purandra is chasing after him. "I will beat him." And phew, that Brahmin caught hold of Jagannath Mishra, caught hold of him. "Don't beat him." He's kind of like the archaeotype CPT officer. "Don't beat him," holding him back. "Don't beat him." What does he know? What is beating a child? He doesn't know right from wrong. That's okay. I am a Tirthakari Brahmin. Generally, I live in the forest. Just bring some roots and fruits. I will be satisfied with that. And Mishra Purandra, no, please, you've come to our home, our opportunity. We have to serve you. Please cook again. Please cook again. He was a little reluctant, and so actually all of the family members gathered, and together they appealed. So he was induced by the request of all of the assembled family members. Okay. Begins cooking again. Again, they cleaned the kitchen, bought the ingredients. The household ladies, they said, take Nimai to another. He may spoil the offering again. Take Nimai to another house. And as Sachimata was carrying Nimai, the household ladies were saying, Nimai, you've lost your caste. You don't know where this Brahmin is from. And you've eaten, they're joking. You've lost your caste. Where's this Brahmin from? We don't know. You've eaten his food. And Nimai smiles and says, nothing wrong with a cowherd boy eating the food of a Brahmin. But they were unable to understand the significance of his response. So again, the Brahmin, having cooked, is in meditation on Gopal. Please accept his offering. Please you accept. You please do take. And whilst he's praying in this way, again, somehow Nimai appears there, and he's reaching out with his hand, he's eating the hot rice with the ghee, and he's enjoying. And again, the Brahman opens his eyes. Hi! The child has spoiled the offering again. This time, Jagannath Mishra he came running with a stick. You think I am a fool? You do not know I am a learned aristocratic Brahmin? You think you can fool me? You think you can behave like this in my house? He's chasing him with a stick. All of the residents of the house, they're trying to hold back Jagannath Mishra. And then Mishra, he's completely, at this stage, he's completely devastated. He doesn't know what to do. Already the Brahmin has cooked twice. He hasn't taken food. It's getting late at night now. Actually, it's already after midnight. He's simply sitting there with his head in his hands. At that time, Vishwarup appeared. When that Tirthakari Brahman saw Vishwarup, his beautiful features, Vishwarup is Nityananda Prakash. His beautiful lotus-like eyes, his moon-like face, his beautiful chest like that, like an elephant, his Brahman thread. And then when Vishwarupa began to speak, he heard the sweet nectar emanating from the lips of Vishwarup. He said, who are the parents of this divine child? He said, this is the son of Mishra, Vishwarup. And Vishwarup began to speak in such a charming way. We are so fortunate you have arrived in our home. We've been given an opportunity by Lord Narayan himself to serve you. However, this is the cause of great misfortune, because if a guest fasts in the house of the householder, then it is very auspicious. Everything can be destroyed. And Vishwarup is begging, you kindly allow us to serve you. You kindly cook again. Tirthakari Brahman is saying, come on, I've already cooked twice. Can't you understand? One has to accept the results of one's previous karma. Today, I am not destined to eat rice. Just bring some fruits and some roots. I am satisfied with that. Vishwarup, please, I beg you. You have to cook again. It's already past 2 o'clock in the morning. Vishwarup, there's nothing wrong with the time. At that point, Vishwarup, he fell down and he clasped the feet of that Brahmin. And he's begging him, please cook again. So this is very, very difficult to refuse. If somebody clasps your feet and begs you, it's almost impossible for a Vaishnava to refuse such an appeal. So he agreed. At this stage, it was very late in the night, and the ladies said, take Nimai to another house and put him in a room and tie the door. Bhalo, bhalo, bhalo. Jagannath Mishra says, good idea, good idea. And then the ladies said, don't worry, Nimai is already fast asleep. Nothing will happen. So at this time, in the middle of the night, the Brahman is cooking. And he begins to make his offering. By this time, everyone is fast asleep. Actually, Jogamaya, Nidra, Nimai, Vishwambar, everyone was fast asleep. And at that time he's making his offering, he's meditating. And Gopal, you please accept this humble offering I've cooked for you. And then again, Nimai appears and begins eating that offering. The Brahman opens his eyes, he sees Nimai again smiling, eating. He calls out again, hi, 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 hi. No one could hear. Everyone was fast asleep. At that time, Nimai began to speak. What is my fault? How do you expect me to refuse your appeals, your calling, your crying, your mantra, your request? You're requesting me to come and eat the offering. I cannot refuse. I'm attracted to your devotion. The Brahman is somewhat astonished. And at that time, Sri Gaur-Sundar, he revealed a form which had never before been seen. He revealed an 8-formed, Ashtabhuj form of Krishna, a Lord Narayan, Gaur Narayan, an 8-armed form of Shankra Chakra Gada Padma, 4 hands holding the 4 symbols of Lord Narayan, and then another 2 hands holding makon, butter, and eating, and then another 2 hands playing the flute. This Ashtabhuj form demonstrated at the house of Jagannath Mishra, Shachiyangan, in Navadip Dham. It's not even visible in other dhams. In Vrindavan, this form is also not visible. In this way, some things which are revealed in Maya can be revealed in Mayapur, which you can't even experience in Vrindavan Dham. So then, Gaur Narayan, he began speaking to that Brahmin, and he's saying that because you are meditating on this form of mine, so in reciprocation with your bhav, I am manifesting before you. Your prayers, your sadhana practice, your meditation, it has become perfect. This is called sadhana siddhi. This is sadhana siddhi. The practice that we are cultivating in the sadhana practice, in the subtle level, that we will achieve. That we will achieve by the reciprocation of the Lord. He explained that actually you are my eternal servant, and eternally I am eating your offerings. You came when I was residing in the house of Nanda Baba, and at that time also I eated your offerings. Of course, seeing this, the Brahmin, he couldn't reply. He was simply completely overwhelmed. He was falling down unconscious. And again, coming back to conscious, and again seeing, and then falling unconscious. And he couldn't speak. He was simply perspiring, shivering, hair standing on his end, on the end as he's seeing this beautiful form of the Lord. And not only did he see the form of the Lord, but the whole area turned into Vrindavan Dham. He could see Shurabi Gavi. He could see Kadamba Gach. He could see Gopa Gopira. And the cowherd boys and the gopis collecting and carrying the milk. His meditation, his sadhana practice became fully realized. Sa prayati samadbhavam. As a result of the sadhana practice, he achieved the eternal abode of the Lord. And in Gita, Krishna explains, what is that? That Brahmabhuta, no, what is that? Tato mam tattvato gyatva. Tato mam tattvato gyatva. Vishate tat anantaram. Vishate, you enter into. So this is what the practice of sadhana is all about. It's not simply signing off on the book. That's not the objective. Yes, I tick all the items. Done, 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 done. That's not the purpose. It's what's internal, the internal cultivation. Shravana di shuddha chitte kuraya udoy. In his teachings to Rupa Goswami, Mahaprabhu is explaining that by the sadhana practice, the natural bhav, kuraya udoy, it awakens, like the rising sun, and then you can't hold it back anymore. No longer is it a mechanical practice, it becomes spontaneous. Premo namada vashada shesha dashayo grashto brahmato sada. Constant madness the Goswamis were demonstrating. They couldn't forget Krishna as a result of the sadhana practice. The natural, eternal, constitutional bhav becomes awakened again, becomes revived. It was asleep. It becomes revived again by the prodding, sometimes Prabhupada gives an example for sadhana in his lectures on nectar devotion. He says, when a car stalls, he says a car stalls. At that time Prabhupada had already been in the US. And a car stalls. He says you have to push it. Push, and then and Prabhupada makes a sound, and then cluck, 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 cluck. That happens here in the vehicles they make in India. Yes, you put it in second gear, and then you take off the clutch, and boom, cluck, 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 and it runs. So Prabhupada was explaining, in the beginning there has to be some pushing, but then it becomes aroused. It was asleep, it becomes revived, and then you can't stop it. You can't stop it. Bhava bhakti, the emotions. You become mad after Krishna. Now in our Krishna consciousness movement, Krishna say, Tomar Krishna dite bhado. Why Prabhupada has traveled all over the world, established beautiful temples. Sri Sipata, Sarati, Prabhupada installed. Yes? Prabhupada. In Sydney, Prabhupada carried Radha Govinda with him on the plane. He was carrying Gopinath, and his secretary, Upendra, was carrying Radharani as hand luggage on the plane, a long flight from Singapore. And he initiated the devotees as second initiation Brahmins and installed the deities. They knew nothing. They were wearing bed sheets. They'd never even seen Prabhupada, second initiation. And as he's leaving, I've left you in the hands of the Mlecha Javons. I've left you in the hands of the Mlecha Javons, Australians. You kindly accept their service. But the question is why? Why Prabhupada is installing the deities? What is that? Harinama, Harinama. Eva Gotir Onnata. What is it? Harinama. Eva Kevalam. Onna Gotir Nai. That is the holy name. Why Prabhupada is installing the deities? Because the way that Prabhupada has designed their worship in ISKCON, that reflects his bhav. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Prabhupada liked it. He made it a standard feature. Why? Because he liked it. That means it's in alignment with his feelings, the way he loves Radha Krishna. So he's training the disciples, Krishna Dite Paro, by following the sadhana practice that Prabhupada has given us, the deities that we worship, Radha, Krishna, Gaurnitai, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, the prayers that we chant. Have you heard Prabhupada singing that? Gai Gaura Madhu. You can hear all these prayers. We sing the prayers, we chant the mantras, we follow the sadhana practice. That is awakening the bhav according to the flavor that Srila Prabhupada has. That's what it means to be a Prabhupada Anugami. We are awakening the same bhav that he is sharing. And in that way, we spread the Krishna consciousness movement. And we practice Krishna consciousness, and by Prabhupada's mercy, we can all awaken our pure love of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Rishi Kumar, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, very grateful for a wonderful exposition of Sri Mayapur Dham and Gaur Leela. I think we can't stop you from speaking about Gaurang Mahaprabhu. My question is, in terms of, during the lecture you mentioned about the deeper the bhajan or the deeper the sadhana that we are doing, or the abhyasa that you mentioned, that is the only way you can actually burn the anarthas and conditioning that we have. So, how do we deal with the balance of a society's consideration along with our depth of sadhana?
Good question. Archa pracha namara koraho duikarjo. Tumi sarva guru, tumi jagatir arjo. Sanatana Goswami is appreciating Haridas Thakur. Archa pracha. So both have to be there. Both those two things. Archa pracha namara koraho duikarjo. These two things have to be there. And so they're both essential. We have to do the achar, that means the sadhana practice, and we have to do the prachar. So we have to find a balance. Each individual will be a little bit different, but both components have to be there essentially. Probably as a vague generalization, I would say in general in ISKCON we may be more on the prachar side. And Prabhupada also, he emphasized that. As a devotee becomes more mature, then the bhajan, more time can be given as a devotee, so that when more quality and more pure. But there's no point in imitating that at an immature stage. I mean, you don't have the adhikar. So better we're engaged, we're busy, and also that Mahaprabhu and Krishna Prabhupada would explain that this is the secret. Na cha tasman manu sheshu kashtit me priya kritum. This is very dear to me. Priya kritum. Bhavata na chame tasmat anya priya taro bhuvi. Anya priya. There is no one else as dear. Anya priya. Where is as the one who's sharing my teachings with others? So the preaching, Prabhupada explains, if you want to get the mercy of Krishna very quickly, guaranteed, become the preacher of Krishna consciousness. That doesn't just mean giving a lecture. Preacher means you assisting in the sharing of Krishna consciousness indiscriminately. You contribute towards the sharing of Krishna consciousness all over the world indiscriminately. That's preaching. So Prabhupada emphasized that a lot because it's a very powerful means of attracting the mercy of the Lord, particularly Gorshunda, Patit Pavan, Hetu, Taba Avatar, who's come for that purpose. So when we take on the work or the business of the Lord, of spreading Krishna consciousness to the Patit, Tava Hetu Avatar, for that reason he's appeared. So anyone who does his business becomes very dear to him. So the preaching cannot be neglected. The preaching is so fundamental in our advancement in Krishna consciousness. But if we simply busy, and we're neglecting the internal cultivation, Mahaprabhu explains that the upashaka, the bhakti beach, can become overcome by the upashaka, subtle desires for followers, for puja, pratishta, labha. So these things can specifically attack the sadhaka on the path. So that as we become more engaged, the bhajan has to become increasingly intensified, because these subtle anarthas, we can expect that we have to deal with these. So Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte, Mahaprabhu says, Mali hoi kore, become a gardener. Mali hoi kore, sei bija aropan, Shravan kirtan jole, koraya shechon. You have to water, you have to nourish the devotional kripa. So, in that way we can preach with enthusiasm. They're both extremely essential. Thank you. Grantharaj.
Thank you, Prabhuji. One point is there that in this verse, when the living entity identifies himself, aso aham, that I am this, and mam ete, and these are mine, and then he plans the activities, then he takes another body. In the same way, in spiritual sense, if we convert these ideas, mam ete, these are mine. So he thinks Krishna is my master, and aso aham, and I am Krishna's servant. So this is my and mine. Krishna is my master, and I am Krishna's servant. And then he plans the service of Krishna, then he goes back to Krishna Loka.
Thank you. Actually, you're inspiring me to add an additional comment. Prabhupada gave the example of the plan maker, who at the final moment was so absorbed in his plans. Now, if at the final moment where we are thoroughly absorbed in the plans of spreading Krishna consciousness, that's good. That's good. absorb our mind in the plan. I have plans. There's so much more to be done. Sometimes we hear this expressed by our senior preachers in Krishna consciousness. I want to live longer because there's so much more. Prabhupada has ordered me to achieve. There's so much more I haven't done. So leaving your body in that consciousness is pretty good. Being completely absorbed in the activities of preaching Krishna consciousness. That's non-different. That is the manifestation of Vrindavan Dham. That is it. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Nitai Gauda Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.